Hey guys, it's Whiskey. Thanks for coming back. Welcome to Palm Tree Elegy. If you were here for my first 3 videos or my intro and you came back, it's so glad to see you. I'm so glad to see you. And if this is your first time seeing me or coming to Palm Tree Elegy, welcome and thank you so much for sharing your energy with me. The first video, the poem I want to start with today is called Breathe. You can get a print of it on Facebook. And it is by Becky Hemsley, who is from Middle England. She has a beautiful voice, and she actually does the prints and she does the spoken poem on her Facebook page. It's Becky Hemsley, Talking to the Wild. I bought her book, and I will tell you, I read it cover to cover, even though it's poetry. And as you can see, I've got things marked and tagged all over in this book because I just could not put it down. She spoke to my soul, and I'm sure she speaks to many others. And it turns out she's also a former teacher, so there are no mistakes, there are no coincidences, right? And I've actually spoken to Miss Becky, and she has agreed to be one of my first interviews on my channel, so I can't wait till we get that all set up and get things rocking with that. So let me start. Breathe. She sat at the back, and they said she was shy. She led from the front, and they hated her pride. They asked her advice, and then questioned her guidance. So she told them her dreams, and they... I skipped. I'm so sorry. I'm going to start over. Do over, and that's okay. I don't have to edit this, right? We can just make mistakes, and we say, oh, whoops, and back up. So that's what I'm going to do. Breathe. She sat at the back, and they said she was shy. She led from the front, and they questioned... You know what I just did, right? Third time's a charm. I'll use my finger to guide my my eyes this time. Breathe. She sat at the back, and they said she was shy. She led from the front, and they hated her pride. They asked her advice, and then questioned her guidance. They branded her loud, then were shocked by her silence. When she shared no ambition, they said it was sad. So she told them her dreams, and they said she was mad. They told her they'd listen, then covered their ears, and gave her a hug whilst they laughed at her fears. And she listened to all of it, thinking she should be the girl they told her to be, best as she could. But one day she asked what was best for herself, instead of trying to please everyone else. So she walked to the forest and stood with the trees, and she heard the wind whisper and dance with the leaves. And she spoke to the willow, the elm, and the pine, and she told them that what she'd been told time after time. She told them she'd never felt nearly enough. She was either too little or far too much, too loud or too quiet, too fierce or too weak, too wise or too foolish, too bold or too meek. Then she found a small clearing surrounded by firs, and she stopped and she heard what the trees said to her. And she sat there for hours, not wanting to leave, for the forest said nothing. It just let her breathe. This was the first poem I had ever heard from Becky Hemsley, and I immediately fell in love. If you watched my intro video, you understand. If you haven't, I encourage you to go back. The title is Who Am I? Who is Palm Tree Elegy. And I touched on it then, and that's going to be the basis of now, is the fear of my own voice and being trained to not have my own voice. And once you have your voice, people don't want to listen. Or the biggest thing I realized with all of this is not that they don't want to listen that hurts you so much or hurt me so much. It was the fact that the people that I trusted to listen and take to heart what was important to me judged everything that I did. And at some point in your life, you just get tired of being judged. And we also realize that when you're tired of being judged, when we really look at ourselves, we're our own worst critics. I was my own worst critic. And perfection is a lie. Perfection is a big old lie. Right? Perfection is a lie. Now I find the beauty in the imperfection. When I had to start that poem over 3 times, and I still messed up in the middle. But you know what? That's me. I mess up and I start over. And the more I thought about it, the more I messed up in the middle. That's what had happened, because I was judging myself in the middle of reading the poem of someone else's work that I loved. And I had still gotten in my own way while I was reading someone else's work. I wasn't judging her. I was judging me. And it's a habit that I've done for over 40 years, and I'm still breaking it. It's going to, you can't learn something for 40 years and completely change the habit overnight. You can take good steps, and that first step is the most important. But I'm also learning to give myself grace. And I'm also learning that I'm not afraid to be judged, because I know that I'm true to myself, and I know that I'm doing my best, and I can pat myself on the back, and without ego, correct? And those people who have spent my life judging me, and even new people in my life, I can tell, I can feel it. Instantly, I can feel it. Or they say certain things like little snide side comments that you're like, did they just say that? Did they really just say that? Those things, those people, no use for them in my life. None. And I've gotten really, really good at cutting those cords pretty quick without looking back. And I don't have any hard feelings on them, because I understand that they just need a hug. They're literally projecting their own judgment of themselves onto me. And I don't accept that judgment anymore. I don't take it from myself. Constructive criticism is a different animal. I accept constructive criticism. I encourage people to critique my work and to let me know where I can improve, because there's always room for improvement. But if somebody's just going to outright judge me and have no course of being at least somewhat just not even polite, because I think polite is overused in the wrong way. Just without any recourse. I mean, if you're just going to judge me to be an asshole, you're just an asshole, period. And I just don't have room and time for that in my life, because my life is filled with people who are not judging me, and people who want to see me grow, and people who want to grow with me. And I'm happy. I'm happy to be who I am when I am. Like I said in the last video, most of my videos are going to be in the woods. That's why this poem stuck with me so much, is because nature isn't going to judge you. Nature grounds us. Nature will hold her own. I mean, if we keep abusing nature, nature is going to come back. We're pretty insignificant in the whole scheme of things. Nature doesn't need us. We need nature. So there needs to be a mutual respect there, where we can take her love and accept her love and give her love back. People used to make jokes about tree huggers years ago when I was growing up, and now I'm like, half my friends are tree huggers, because they understand there's an energy and a power and a strength, and trees literally give us the air we breathe. They literally give us the air we breathe. My name means I'm a palm tree. I am a tree. I am one in the forest. I am part of it. It could be a desert forest or a tropical one, and I like both. But we, as humans, we have to make a concerted effort to just slow down and stop and just breathe. Go out with the trees. Even if you're in the city, go find a park. Go take a book. Go to the library for free. It doesn't take anything. Walk to the park. Walk in your backyard. Go to the library and check out a book for free. Put your phone down. Put your phone down. No AirPods in your earbuds in your ears. Turn off your tech. Turn off your tech and just say, okay, for 5 minutes. If you need your phone, set it for 5 minutes. Use it as a timer. You know, just turn it all off and slow it all down and listen to her, listen to nature, listen to her voice. And you'd be amazed how much your own voice will speak to you when you turn everything else off. When you turn off your own judgments, when you turn off other people's judgments, when you turn off all the white noise that is in this crazy, crazy world we're living in, because there's something coming at you 24/7. Even when your lights are turned off and your tech is in the other room and everything is turned off, if the power turns off, I wake up. If the power in the house turns off, I wake up because it suddenly gets quiet. The power coursing through the walls in your house makes noise. And we are so immune to just, we have filtered out that noise, but it's still there. We have not, we just need to reconnect and find our peace and our quiet. And so many of us are afraid to sit by ourselves. We're afraid to hear our own voice. Some of us have shut it down for so many years that we're afraid of what it's going to tell us. But the truth is, if we don't listen to what our own voice tells us, nothing's ever going to change. And in fact, it's going to get worse. We're not on this hell ride that we're on right now because we're living our authentic selves. And quite frankly, that world that's on TV, that's not my world. I live in a whole different dimension than what's going on when people turn on their TVs, because I'm not there. That's not my choice. My choice is peace and calm and quiet. And I'll admit, it's rowdy and redneck and everything else when I'm ready to turn that side of me on and go out and play and have fun with my friends. I'm not always, let's go hug a tree and don't step out. That's not me either. It's about balance. But we have to start balancing, and we have to acknowledge that we're out of balance in order to even get to that point. In order to even start, we have to tell ourselves the truth. So with that, I'm going to hold on to the same homework as I did with my intro video. It's who am I? Ask yourself, who am I? And if you haven't done it yet, I encourage you to just go sit under a tree, take a good old pen and piece of paper, because there's also something about the kinetic energy of writing things down and getting them out of your brain and physically writing it. It's not the same when you put it to a phone or swipe it into your phone, or even when you record it. I literally have a clipboard with me everywhere I go, and there's notes all over the place in here. There's handwritten notes in here too. I dropped in the last video and I haven't resorted stuff. Oh, there they are. I literally have notes written down of things that I need to either work through or want to record. Or if you want to make it happen, you've got to start writing things down. It doesn't have to be a journal. It could be 3 words. I love 3 words. Take whatever it is that's in your head and put it in 3 words, and then walk away from it and see where it comes from, or see where it takes you later. And we're going to have a lot of conversations about energy and what we tell ourselves and all those other crazy cool things that not a whole lot of people are talking about yet. But I make a point to hold my videos to 15 minutes of my personal ones. So with that, plus or minus, up or down, tell me how I'm doing. Tell me what I could fix, what you do like, what you don't like, what you want to see more of, topics that you'd like me to speak about. And palmtreeelegy.com. I did it again. palmtreeelegy@gmail.com. palmtreeelegy.com is coming in the near future, I hope. It will. But palmtreeelegy@gmail.com. Write to me if you don't want to put it in public, and please let me know what you want to hear about, because I probably have it written down somewhere as a show topic, and I will get on it as soon as I hear from you. All right. Thank y'all. We'll talk to you next time, and keep on rocking.